All right, today we're jumping into a core principle of Islamic finance that really stands apart from our modern global economy. We're talking about the absolute ban on charging interest, a concept known as Riba.
And this question right here gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? We live in a world that runs on loans and interest. So how do we make sense of a doctrine that doesn't just forbid it, but sees it as one of the most serious sins you could possibly commit?
So, to really get this, we have to understand that riba isn't just a simple one-to-one translation for the word interest. The concept is actually very specific and it's got some deep theological roots.
So the word riba kind of has two layers to it. On one hand, linguistically, it just means increase or growth. Simple enough. But, and this is the important part, in the context of Islamic law, it means something very precise. Any guaranteed and predetermined increase on a loan. That distinction between just any old profit and a guaranteed one, that's everything. You know, historically, this was a direct response to a common practice. If someone couldn't pay their debt, the lender would basically say, fine, I'll give you more time, but now you owe me more. But the Quranic ban is way broader than that. It applies to any pre-agreed increase, not just in cases where someone defaults.
Okay, so this brings up a really common question. Wait a minute. How is earning interest different from the profit you make in any other business deal? Well, according to Islamic scripture, the distinction isn't just minor, it's absolutely fundamental.
Let's break this down. On one side, you have permissible trade, or bay. This is based on exchanging money for real stuff, goods, services. It takes effort, skill, and here's the kicker. You have to accept risk. You might buy something to sell, and it just doesn't sell. You could lose money. Now, on the other side, you have riba. It's not seen as an exchange of goods, it's an exchange of money for time. No real value is added, you're just waiting. And the lender takes on zero real risk in the venture. Their return is guaranteed. That's the core difference.
So let's go beyond the mechanics of it. What's the moral thinking behind this? Why is riba seen as something so inherently harmful?
It really boils down to two main arguments. First, it's believed to erode human sympathy. Instead of helping someone in need, you're exploiting their need for personal gain. And second, and this is a huge economic point, it's seen as a machine for creating wealth inequality.
This quote from the source material really paints a powerful picture. The idea is that interest literally works like a pump. It systematically pulls wealth from people who labor and produce value and pipes it directly into the hands of those who just own capital. It creates a cycle where the rich get richer, often at the expense of everyone else. And that brings us to just how severe this prohibition is. This isn't just another sin on a list. The language used in the scripture puts it in a category all by itself. So you have to ask, just how serious are we talking here? Well, the answer you find in the scripture is, frankly, startling.
That's the description, straight from the Quran, for someone who deals in riba after knowing it's forbidden. It's not just a sin, it's framed as an act of open hostility. I mean, a declaration of war. It's incredibly stark language.
And to really put that into perspective, the source material points out that no other sin gets that level of condemnation. None. It's treated as a fundamental line in the sand, a boundary that separates belief from disbelief.
So this all raises a critical question for us today. How does an absolute, ancient principle like this even function in a modern, global economy that's fundamentally built on the very idea of interest?
Well, the traditional doctrine is completely uncompromising. First, the argument of economic necessity, that you have to do it to survive, is rejected. Second, there's no distinction made between super high-interest usury and standard commercial interest. It's all riba. And that leads to the third point. The duty isn't to bend the principle to fit the modern system. The duty is to strive to change the system to fit the principle. And this is exactly what has fueled the entire modern Islamic finance movement, creating alternatives based on partnership and risk sharing. So when it's all said and done, the bottom line is this. When you're talking about a fixed, guaranteed return on the principal of a loan, there's just no gray area. The permissible rate is zero. It's an absolute.
And this leaves us with a final, really challenging question. In a global economy that literally runs on interest, what does it truly mean to adhere to an interest-free ideal? For over 1 billion people today, this isn't just some academic thought experiment. It's about navigating a financial system that's often completely at odds with their core beliefs. And that is a profound thing to reflect on.